Coming back to Hollywood for them, Mark. Oh, man, I'm so tired. But it's all right. I need to get back to playing guitar. I wasn't playing a lot. I was just visiting family for 3 weeks. Been kind of like, I just took an acoustic guitar with me, like a pussy, and played a lot of acoustic guitar. It sucked. But now I'm back on the electric practicing. Day one of practicing. Mazel tov. Thank you. When are we coming? In March, I think. Okay. We would love a full lesson on how to create Dorian tension that feels like it goes to the moon and back. Maybe. Uh, why is juke joint? Why in juke joint do you play C harmonic minor over the G7? C harmonic minor over the G7? Juke joint is an F minor. Oh, I don't play C harmonic. I play D harmonic minor over the G7. So that's like F minor. On the G7 here, that's no, yeah, that's C harmonic. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's C harmonic minor. Yeah, because it's 5 of 5. So yeah, I guess that's a weird thing. In minor, sometimes when it's like 5 of 5, 5 in minor, then yeah, it's like you have that sound of the two diminished chords going down a half step. That's like the cadence. That's the G7 with like an F diminished on top, and a C7 with E diminished on top. So you have that. And as they call it, back cycling, when you have like dominant chords that are just moving in perfect, like cycle 4, like G7, C7, F7, that. But like when you look at their upper structures and you're looking at the diminished chords that are attached to them, you can see them as just moving down half steps. So like that's kind of like the harmony you get on top. So like the melody, it's like. And if you think about that, it's F diminished. So that's where it comes from. That's the sound, right? So the scales you can play like F melodic minor on the F minor, B flat Dorian on the B flat minor on the 4 minor, and then like C harmonic minor, F harmonic minor to F melodic minor. So like sometimes it'll be like C harmonic minor on the G7, and then like when you get to the C7, it'll be like C altered, so D flat. That kind of thing. Hello, Mister. I'm an intermediate guitar player. What's the strongest advice to learn to play faster? Well, take something you want to play fast and see if you can imagine it fast. Let's see. Did you know Billy Corgan was getting sus with the Christmas melody? How do you adapt your comping? It's like when you're playing with famous people, you just smile a lot and pretend everything's fine and, just try to be supportive. I was just in a horrible mood, and this has improved it significantly. Thomas, that's great to hear. Let's see. Making stank faces like him and his friends just got done eating Limburger cheese. Oh, cool. All right. Let's see. You played with Billy Corgan. I sure did. Yeah. But yeah, I prefer playing with Marvin. It was pretty nice to meet. Let's see. I'm still doing your podcast. I don't really do my podcast, no. We kind of stopped on that. Danny, when are you playing in Hollywood? Same place? Yeah, the Kava Bar. When? I think it's the day we fly to the cruise. I don't know. It'll be announced, so just keep up with our bands in town. Yeah, and it's the same place, Twisted Root. Wanted to know the key difference between melodic and harmonic minor, if you can simply simplify. There's key difference is a weird way of asking that. There's no key difference. But the difference, there's a different scales. If you're putting them, putting like, let's say the difference between C harmonic minor and C melodic minor, as many of you know, is that C harmonic minor has the notes C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, and B, whereas C melodic minor has the notes C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and B. So if you think about it intervallically, harmonic minor is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and natural 7, and melodic minor is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's this sound and this sound. But they each have 7 harmonies. So the chords, the triads that come out of melodic minor would be like 1 minor, 2 minor, flat 3 augmented, 4 major, 5 major, 6 diminished, 7 diminished. And like triads, and then of harmonic minor you'd get 1 minor, 2 diminished, flat 3 augmented, 4 minor, 5 major, flat 6 major, and 7 diminished. And when you extend the harmonies and make them into 7 chords, and it's like 1 harmonic minor is like 1 minor major 7, 2 minor 7 flat 5, flat 3 major 7 sharp 5, 4 minor 7, 5 dominant, flat 6 major 7, and 7 diminished. And melodic minor would be like 1 minor major 7, 2 minor 7, flat 3 major 7 sharp 5, 4 7, 5 7, 6 half diminished, and 7 half diminished, which is really kind of like a 7, like with like a Hendrix chord, like a 7 sharp 9. So, and you should memorize all that shit. Like, you know, that's not like some sort of geeky show off thing. It's like the most nitty gritty, like just basic. Have your word. Like, you know, a lot of people are like, you gotta listen. You know, when you're playing with people, you gotta listen. It's just like, what are you listening for if you don't know things? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't if you're not processing the sounds that people are playing, like, you know, it's kind of like, it's a weird thing because a lot of guys think that like you need to listen to like learn the tunes, but like most people, like, if you don't know the tunes, then you're so lost. Like, you know, it's like not relevant. But when you know the tunes, you got to hear what people are putting on the chords. Like, you know what to expect, but like you're listening for what the sounds they're choosing, and you have to understand the options and what they sound like. And I think that's kind of like one of the main things that's sort of hard to explain to people in the beginning. Do you get enjoying the stream? Thanks, Cameron. Did you hear about the dude? I'm talking to Self-Taught Legend currently in email, and I think we're going to record an interview on Monday. I'm following the saga. I'm a believer in Self-Taught Legend. So yeah. By the way, intermediate doesn't exist. It's just good playing and bad playing. There's like, you know what I mean? People that have been playing badly for a long time invented the term intermediate. Uh, there's no, it's like, you listen to music, it's like it's either good playing or bad playing. So yeah, there's no, like, I'm sorry, but like, become advanced. Just choose to become advanced. Choose to listen to yourself enough to where you get rid of the shit that makes you like go like, ugh, you know? Like if you can't face what you sound like when you record yourself playing over a track or whatever, and you listen back and you're just like, oh, or like, I'm not sure if it's good. Like, I'm not saying like I'm right now, like, if I had listened back to how I play right now, I'd be like, ugh. But I also know I can play well. So and I know what that kind of would be. Um, you got to get to that place. You just have to. There's no, like, you know what I mean? Like people would say, like I heard people say that like John Mayer is like the best intermediate guitar player um, in the history of the world. But it's like he's a great guitar player. It's just like there's just like you could be a great rock guitar player and a great like this thing in fusion and jazz that like some harmony. So like somehow you're playing this other game of amassing information. It's just like you don't know anything you can't apply. You don't know anything you don't know. Like if you can't like sing with it, it doesn't mean anything. You can't be better than what you sound like. So it's like you just gotta get good. I'm not saying it to be like a dick. I'm just saying it to like actually inspire the correct kind of work. Like you gotta first of all, like really face where you are and what the actual problems are. Like, what are those things that like make you call yourself intermediate and not advanced? I'm really curious as to why you say namaste during the end of your videos. Well, I do a lot of yoga and I see the light in people. Will you write a book, please? No, I will not. Uh, Hi, Luke. Nice, I'm trying. Cool, keep trying. If you had 2 hours per day to get as good as possible, what would you do? I could answer that sincerely. I could tell you what I would do, but it wouldn't mean anything to you. It's kind of like imagine going to the gym and going to like a really swole guy, and you're like, if you go to 2 hours to like pump, like what exercises would you do? It's like it might be interesting for you, but it has nothing to do probably with where you're at. Even if you're a different kind of like swole guy, you have different goals. Uh, but most of you guys aren't like swole guys. You're like obese, and it's just like don't worry about that. Don't worry about like getting those like little tiny like pyramid muscles, like your muscles have muscles type thing. Like you're about to die of a heart attack. Just do anything. You know what I mean? Like just start working on your biggest problems, right? It's like if you're super overweight, like do some basic weightlifting and like walk. Just you just gotta. I mean, it's like that's what I'm saying. Again, not to be a dick, just to be like absolutely honest. Record yourself playing whatever. Like have heroes. If you don't have musical heroes, and you know who your heroes are that you're trying to get close to. If you're trying to play like Wes Montgomery, that orients you, like approximately where you're trying to get to, like not to say obviously like really dumb people become impersonators, instead of just using what they love as or basic orientation, but start walking towards it and record yourself playing the same songs, or bits of the songs or whatever it is that's your way of like, doing that, making your own version that you can make today of that end goal, and then listen back to it. And if you're just like, what the like, it's all fucked up, then exactly, okay. So where are you going to start? Start with the notes. That's a good place. Start with the rhythms. That's probably, if you don't have the notes, going to be hard. So notes are a good idea. Then rhythms, then the sound. But yeah, you gotta be in this journey mentality where you're trying to get somewhere far away from where you are and trying to, you know people ask me about my practice routine. It's just like, that's like, again, imagine you're walking from like Chicago to China, like, not walking, but like, you have to take a boat somewhere in the mountain, like, and it's like, year 1500 or something. It's a long journey. Like, drawing it out on a map day one is not going to prepare you for the day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute challenges involved. You're going to have to do a lot of, you know, small things to get to where you want to go every day. Let's see. Okay, honestly, just found you in 2025. Oh, shit. So are you guys on the Patreon yet? God, it's all like, I know that like everybody's like a dick trying to sell a course. I'm no different. But my shit is actually great. Like, we put a lot of thought into it. And yeah, get on the Patreon. I've been feeling like scale arpeggios shapes lock me into the same repetitive sounds. Do you think seeing notes on the fretboard and playing changes by thinking of notes is a better approach? Arpeggios and scales there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfect. They're great. You just, application might be the problem. Like, you're not fast at using them in an interesting way. Like, you can know, let's say, a C major 7 arpeggio, but if you're playing in an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 and you're using C major 7 on this root, right, and this is the sound. And you just kind of like remember that relationship between those two sounds. Like, tritone away from a half diminished chord gives you this cool sound in low key, and then even if you're playing that arpeggio up and down, it doesn't all of a sudden have that feeling that you're locked into something. So, sometimes it's about learning how to, you kind of like, you don't want to be in the situation where you're just like looking at a tool and are bored with it. It's like a shovel. I'm so bored of shovels. It's like, you need to move the dirt. Like, what? How can you be bored? It's like, yeah, of course. It's like the tool is boring. The job is interesting, right? It's like you gotta play tunes and use like those arpeggios on those scales, like in the places where they go, and think about it. Let's see. Robin Ford or Scott Henderson? Scott Henderson all day. Not even close. But Robin Ford with Miles Davis is closer. But like bluesy Robin Ford with like hints of fusion, no, not for me. I don't have Patreon, but I will check yours out. Your videos on Cage System. Well, there's a whole course on there on Cage, bro. You will be a cage master. You'll be a cage fighter. Again, I want to make very clear that like, I am not doing this altruistically. I'm doing it for your money. But it's just really good information on there. It's how I actually see it. I mean, where do I find it? I don't know. Patreon.com/something. Let's see. I don't run it. Nick runs it. Patreon.com/Marvin. Is that it, or Marvin Music? Yeah, just slash Marvin. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, we started off with like really nothing and we're at 3,845 members. It's a big community. We're, you know, we're like the LGBT community, but smaller. Let's see. Danny, real quick, can you do an example of chord tone soloing on a 12-bar blues in C sharp minor? Chord tone soloing? Let's see. Shout out from Berkeley. It's a fucking scam. You were right. I tell everybody, but people that want to go anyway. What's your opinion? I love tweeds. They're great. This Wagner Shiva is very good too. Let's see. Well, you know, it's yeah. So minor blues. Something like that. You know, with blues, chord tone soloing is not a thing because the chord tones sound like you're a child if you just kind of like play it. Like the 4 minor, that one of the biggest mistakes you can go like going from like 1 minor to 4 minor in a blues is following that minor third when you get to the 4 chord, like going from like. No, it's so dissonant, right? It's like on the change like that. Like that note that becomes the 9 of the 4 chord, which is the 5 of the 1 chord. It's like that's the place you want to lean into, right? It's like. Sound good to me. Well, it's in. It's like, you know, is in good. You got, again, you know, it's like you have to do it enough to develop aversions. I think that's really key. Like the beginning, like, you know, like if anything played like, you know, in time with decent sounds good to you, you haven't learned to hate enough things. Let's see. I'm coming to see you in Austin. Fuck yeah, Cliff can't. You guys hip to we're playing like 2 weeks straight, over 2 weeks. We're going on a tour to Texas. Let's see. What advice would you give a blues dad in his late 50s to start introducing some outside phrasing? Don't. That's advice I'd give. I'd be like, you're not the guy. Nobody wants to hear that from you. It's not, you know, it's like with the jazz phrasing stuff, it's rhythmic. You know, that the first part was a joke. You can do whatever you want. It's rhythmic, I would say that. So think about, if you're not rhythmically minded when you're playing, like let's say you're playing a blues, right? Always try to take the rhythms you're playing and imagine that instead of a guitar, you're playing a snare drum. And now ask yourself, is that a good snare drum solo? If the answer is no, then it's also not a good guitar solo by default, especially with this outside playing business. Now, what are good rhythms? Well, that depends on the groove. It's kind of like, what are good notes? That depends on the chord you're playing them against. So the rhythmic choices you're using soloing on the specific groove you're using is kind of like the notes you're using on a chord. And you have to just start developing a real nice vocabulary. So if it's like a do do cat do 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 cat do 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 cat do 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 cat, what are you doing on that snare drum? Right? If you're going do do dee do dee do da, or ta 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 ta, that's not a solo. That sucks, you know. So like, what would people do, right? Think about like a if I'm thinking like those kind of, so if I'm trying to generate those kind of rhythms, that's a good vehicle for outside playing. I can find a place in there to cram something, but you know, it needs to kind of like have that flow and land like that. So if I'm thinking that, right? So that was just like an A Dorian, but then I can push bits of that out. Like the sidestepping thing that you hear Scott Henderson, people like that play. You know, that it has to do with if go and listen to people you like and just try to like, you know, sing back the rhythms they're playing. If it's like Robin Ford or Scott Henderson, doesn't matter. You'll notice that in those moments they sort of shift their thinking from, you know, let's say purely note finding and melody to really like making a rhythmic statement that lands. Yeah. How about a stop in Michigan one day? Playing to a tight rhythm section always inspires me. That's a good idea. I'll be there in Houston. Cool. How do you go about acquiring your nicer gypsy jazz guitars? Did you go to a nice shop? Well, I bought one from Nando Reinhardt, which is like a great grandson of Django in COVID when he needed cash. I bought two from Henning, or I bought one that was custom made for me from Henning Doderer, who's retired, but he's a great luthier from Germany. And I got one ordered from a dude who lives in Paris, which is a Oliver Marine guitar. If I need a B Phrygian sound, can't I just play a G major scale and be safe instead of learning each mode's patterns? Each parent's scale is laid out on the guitar and creates many, many patterns. How you call these patterns, how you label them, has to do with you, like whatever system you use to put it together. When you apply the notes of the G major scale to a B root note, to a tonal center that makes the sound B, the sound that's created by that relationship of the low note to the notes you're playing is B Phrygian. So as long as you are holding that in your mind when you're playing, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people play G major and don't hold that in their mind. Are you hearing these notes against that? Or the moment your brain is telling you G major, you're playing symmetric phrases that sit nicely inside this shape and kind of like keep resolving to the note G, right? For a lot of people, I'd say, more people who are like, haven't been playing for a long, this kind of stuff, improvising for a long time. The problem is that the scale shapes they know have another layer of subconscious information cake, like baked into the cake, and they keep resolving to these specific places that they're associating with this fingering pattern. So if you keep doing that, then you keep landing on the flat six of a B minor chord, which is going to sound real dumb. So it's not a good system if you are kind of using it in a sonically blind way, which means that you're not listening to the chord that it's going on and understanding what the notes do on that chord. Each note has a function. Some notes are chord tones and some notes are tensions. So in that sense, it's maybe healthy to flip it in your mind and think modally. Think about the notes of B Phrygian, because then you have a system baked into the cake of separating chord tones from tensions. So you can predict, you don't have to fish or ear out what the consonant points are. I can navigate the 3 note per string scale over the neck. It's just easier to keep the parent scale in my head. Well, Pat Martino famously has a thing about turning everything into minor sounds. They call it minor conversion. Um, and when you do that, you're basically calling everything Dorian in a sense. Uh, so D major is E Dorian, whatever. Like, F Lydian is E, or sorry, D major is E Dorian. G major, G Lydian is E Dorian. So it's when you're looking at a key, you can ask yourself what code name lights up the most dots. So if I tell you, let's say A minor 7 flat 5, you might be like, ooh, like A Locrian. That might light up very, very little bits of your neck. You might have a grip and a scale shape that works there. But if I say C Dorian, you probably have a lot more, but they have the same things. So I think you learn how to build these connections between things and use the code words that light up maximum spots over time, especially when you're playing the kind of music that has minor 7 flat 5 chords to where you have to think about that. Best wishes, Randy. Can you give a brief rundown of the strat you're playing? Yeah, it's a sewer. Has a Thornbucker and 2 Mike Landau pickups, which now they call V63 Plus. It's silent, so it doesn't make there's not a lot of hum. This is, tone for this guy, tone for these two. I don't know what else I could say about it. It's really like big frets, not stainless steel. I hate that bullshit. It's nice. It's like a good. It's a good. Oh, see, You see, people are signing up for the Patreon as we speak. It's good to do live feeds. It's good to do live feeds. It's good for business. That's what I'm talking about. Outside of practice, do you prefer playing by thinking theoretically or just going by feel? I never think too much when I play. Like, I'm always amazed, especially like after like a heavy practice phase of my life when I go play shows, how little of it seeped into my playing. Like, there are two separate worlds. You have to make both of them very nice for yourself. Like, practicing is hard in a sense, but you just, it's kind of like, you imagine trying to live in order to affect your dreams, right? Imagine living out your days, like the tasks to shape your dreams. You don't do that, you just kind of like have these two sides of your personality, like sleep and wakefulness. Being awake is more like practicing, and thinking. Um, being playing is more just like letting whatever's in there do what it's doing. Um, and if you're extremely uncomfortable with the music, you're just not gonna fall asleep. You're just gonna play from a practice kind of state, which some people pretend that that's not what's happening, but for a lot of guys, that's exactly what's happening, and it's very obvious for the listener that it's like that they're not being taken on that kind of thing. Um, and it's becoming increasingly rare now that they are, but that's the shit. That's what everybody I like did. I don't know. You listen to Louis Armstrong, he's not thinking about anything. It's just Sinatra singing. They're just singing. Danny Talueshen Odlo. Why don't you like stainless? It's plinky, and all these guys who are not players are trying to convince me it sounds better, and I just I I absolutely can call bullshit on that. It's like I hear them. It's just like I play it. I hear it. It's just like so much of the sound of the guitar is the string hitting the frets. And it's like it matters if it's made out of like different shit. I don't know. It's like I know that like they're like it's so much better, so much durable, sounds the same. There's no difference. Like okay. Um, are you an Alan Holdsworth fan? Sure. How many years into guitar playing did you become able to play what you hear sing? What would you say are the most important skills that you got other than audiating, pentatonics, etc.? Um, well, I mean, pretty early on, I could sing the bullshit I played, but it wasn't good. It's like you make this connection, but you also it also increases your awareness of how limited your vocabulary is. Um, there are a lot of things rhythmically that I couldn't play, and just it makes you realize at a certain point when you connect them how much is left to learn outside of this thing that you can express. So I think just there's a real um, empty feeling you can have sometimes from how little you know. But that's good, because that's what makes you want to pick up some things, from the external world. Um, what do you like to listen to outside of jazz and fusion? I don't listen to a lot of jazz, to a lot of fusion. I listen to jazz. I like old jazz. Um, I don't know. It's a good question. Um, I haven't been listening to a ton of music lately, I have to say. Um, what have I been listening to? Sonny Stitt, Charlie Parker. I put them on. I like live albums. I really don't. I don't care what people do in the studio. It just doesn't interest me. I like how people actually play, and in an era where that was the sport. And I like people to just like have this like feeling like they could just go on and just keep coming up with crazy shit like Oscar Peterson and Charlie Parker and Coltrane and Sonny Stitt and Wes Montgomery. It's like this feeling like it's like they're never running out of like they're just it's the real thing, just like channeling, you know. Just watch an interview you did about music school. Enjoyed it. Just recently discovered you. Great vids. Please, I did Berkeley online. Yeah, everybody gets scammed sometimes. Can you jam on some Coltrane? I could. How much should I practice a day? Uh, you know, you should practice as much as you can, like, as much as you can. It's like, work within the framework of your own life. You seem to be a kind of natural on the instrument. How far into playing did you realize you could really do special things? I'm not a natural. I used to suck a lot, and then over time I sucked less. I've seen naturals. I'm unimpressed by naturally talented people. I am impressed by some of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life have already quit guitar. I'm impressed with people who play at a high level and don't quit and don't kill themselves or go do something else with it or just give up. I'm impressed by people who have a commitment to this in a sort of healthy and sustainable way. Um, do you consider people like Yamandu Costa classical players? I don't know. It seems like to me, it's like there's something happening like in Brazil and South America and Central America and India, and like all these places that are not the states. That like it's hard to explain, but I just don't care. It's just like I see them play, and it's like it's all amazing shit, but like I just don't care. I don't know. It's like seeing some um what's the name of the fucking sport that's kind of like baseball, but they play it with the flat thing and they hit the like there's like three pins. Just like I don't understand the rules. It looks hard, but I don't care. It's like that's how I feel about all that shit. Cricket. That's right. So it's like to me, it's all cricket. I just don't like amazing. Yeah, amazing technique. I don't care. Um, so yeah. So it's the cricket of music. They're amazing athletes. How did you start learning chord melody solo, not playing a single note? Um, I don't remember how I started, but I mean, it's a because it's their kind of question. It's very obvious. Like I'd probably Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, just listening to like people who I liked that did that kind of thing. Any thoughts on how guitar can fit into a more electronic genre that usually doesn't feature it? Bands like Nowhere do a great job. Uh, yeah, tube amps don't mix really well with fake drums. I find tube amps are like tube amps and real drums and rock drums and electric bass are really like nice combination. So I think like digital gear really comes in and like processing to just come out of that speaker well. Big fan of your playing. We opened a couple of times for El Chattanooga. Really like back terminal stuff I've seen you do. Haven't seen that before in person. Oh, cool. Yeah, the Jeff Beck stuff. It's yeah. I mean, I think the thing that people really don't understand about that is it's just the right hand technique. It's like the bar is not that important, but I mean, it is important. Obviously, it's like a central thing there, but you have to like build this muting technique. It's kind of like a slide player with your thumb. It's like so. And it's a real combination of right and left hand muting. So yeah, when you're doing all that stuff with the bar and just playing with your thumb, you can kind of like, it's weird. It's not like Wes Montgomery because it's not this angle of picking, which is West-like. It's more like this thing where your thumb is kind of straight and everything's a lot of free strokes, right? And then getting control of like the inflections, right? But it's like you got to be able to. I mean, I think that's really healthy to do, like just to play this, sing a phrase, play a phrase, and then the other way too. Like just to teach your voice how to do things that like you figured out how to do with your body. Like a lot of people when they're doing the play what you sing thing, they only work at like to train their guitar playing with their voice, but a lot of them are like shit singers. Like they don't have any tricks, they don't have any chops. They're like relying on this internal songbird they never developed, so they're really pulling their guitar playing down with their voice. Let's see. Are you going to make a video on the self-taught legend? I actually am talking to him via email right now because I'm following the saga, and he's interested in doing an interview, which I would love to do. Nick found him, so I don't know how, but he found him. Um, let's see. Are there teachers for guys playing at your level, or are you on your own to try to improve more? What don't you know? Well, nobody knows what they don't know. It's I am not so interested in teachers. Um, I've taken, like, every time I didn't understand a technique, like, gypsy jazz, I took some lessons to figure out but just like a few. Um, I guess when I take lessons now, and I've taken some lessons. Some people have been, like, nice enough to give me, like, when I went to, with Brett Stein, How to Holdsworth series I did was really just me wanting to, like, ask him and Thomas Dawson, like, what have you guys figured out about this? I was curious for a while, and I wanted to practice it, and I wanted lessons. I was just like, let's just make content, but I treated it like taking lessons. And I took like a songwriting lesson once with Vilray from Rachel and Vilray. It was really, like, somebody asked what I listened to. One of my favorite bands, definitely 2025. I don't think there's a better band than Rachel and Vilray. I've seen them live. It's just insane. Like, they're such good singers, and his guitar playing is just insane. He's so good for that style, chord soloing and stuff like that. But I had specific questions. I was like, there were things on my mind that, like, it's not even that I couldn't figure out musically what was happening. I wanted to see if the person doing it could communicate what he was doing in a way that would match my guess, and a big challenge too with teachers is that, like, not a lot of them give answers that satisfy you as a student, that are productive. So, and I'm not saying, like, and not every honest answer from a teacher is something that leads pragmatically to good work from the student. So you have to find a teacher that speaks to you in a way and gives you advice in a way that leads you to the kind of work that leads to improvement, if that makes sense. So, and that's rare, and it's not like a teacher or student thing. It's the meeting, it's the energy that's created by having a good pairing of personalities, where you're just able, maybe as a teacher, to understand what the student broadly needs to be doing with his time, and figure out verbally how to push him, how to get him excited about doing that kind of work, and maybe see the kind of blocks that he has, usually almost all the time psychologically, and then week to week keep him on task if you feel like he should be doing more of something or less of something. What's your stance on bluegrass shredding and the use of capos? I don't know. I like Billy Strings. Whenever I hear any of these guys, actually, I heard Doc Watson. I was just like, dude, Billy Strings sounds exactly like this dude. I wasn't still, but occasionally people will play me like Tony Rice or something like that, and I'm always listening to him. Like, yeah, that's really great guitar playing. I don't care for the music very much, but that's cool. Oh, thanks, Randy. Let's see. How do I play something rhythmically complicated or offbeat, and at the same time keep the track or meter and beat, and also playing all these different notes on guitar? Not sure. Any tips on how to keep the tremolos in tune? Maybe bridge recommendations. I really like those go-to any two like the 5 screw bridges are much harder to deal with, and a lot of times people will kind of lift the middle screws and just make it pivot on 2 to keep it in tune. I think the biggest thing is to make sure that it's not catching on the nut, you know, to use like some sort of lubrication there, like, you know, graphite, or, you know, they make nut sauce, you know, you can make it with some sort of, like, some people use like, you know, graphite from a pencil mixed with some like Vaseline. But if the string catches on the nut slot, that's like, that string's gonna catch. It's not gonna be in tune. So you gotta make sure that is not happening. Bradley Legrand has long been one of my favorites. Truly talented. Yeah, he's a good player. Let's see. Certainly, the driving interest in your channel is your ability to articulate your responses and your electric musical knowledge. Oh, thank you so much. That's nice of you to say. Pat Martino and linear expression. I just love minor conversion therapy. I think that's the greatest thing Pat Martino gave us. Yeah, it's minor conversion therapy. It's beautiful. You know, and it's like, when you watch the video too, he literally like is dressed like a counselor in one of those things. He looks the part. It's just like, he keeps talking about minor conversion. Watch it. Just watch it. Watch linear expression. See what, like, let's see if you can read between the lines and figure out what it's actually about. Because I don't think it's jazz. Yeah. So somebody asked about rhythm. Going to post more Django lessons. You know, I've been kind of like off the Django train lately. The Django world is it's weird. Like, I get into it and out of it, and into it and out of it. It's very, like, it's one of those skills, like, you know, like tap dancing or something, where it's like, yeah, it was super cool, you know, but then you do it in real life, and it's just like the situations where it goes in are problematic, you know, the kind of gigs you get, the kind of attention you draw, you know, it like, just tap dancing all the time doesn't necessarily improve your life. Did you ever own a Plexi? No, I never had a Plexi. I had like a few Plexi sounding amps, but not a Plexi. But yeah, let's play a shreddy Django thing. What Wagner has that, bro? That is a Wagner Shiva. Who's playing bass on this tour? Same drummer dude and this new guy, Chano Cruz, first tour with him. Django Backhart. Are you familiar with Phrygian dominant scale? I've heard about it. Are you Yes, I'm familiar. How was the vacation? It was fucking awesome. Go practice. That's a good idea. One day we'll come back to Denver. You want one, but got a New Yorker. Yeah, that's I don't know the New Yorker. Cool. I probably should go to sleep. I'm very tired. I guess I'll shred on one more fusion hit and go to bed. Let's see, what's that one I always play on? I don't remember how it goes. Where is it? Crispy Funk in F minor. Let's try it. Just because it's a good name. Oh, I can do that. It's pretty crispy, I gotta say. Those scalar runs are quite satisfying to the ear. Yeah, there we go. Uh, I love the slight rhythm change. Yeah, it's cool. It's a joke. I follow him on Instagram and I deleted the Instagram so I get to see Marvin on YouTube. On Instagram, Marvin makes hilarious videos making fun of Berkeley. Oh, thanks, dude. Wow, man, what is this channel? I'm subscribing. Minimalist guitar, killer track. Good job. I was gonna go to sleep, but now I want to see what else they do. Energizing funk rock in E minor. That's your funk rock. Is this AI? Sounds like AI. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the super. Let's see. Strip club from guitar nerds. Yeah. Your playing tonight is extra on par compared to other lives I've jumped on. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Uh, if I had that stamina, I might not piss myself off so much. You know, thickness of my strings is tens. I do the Dario tens. It's a secret of the trade. Very unpopular string size. No, I'm joking. It's probably the most common, but it's because it's a good balance. I used to play 11s, which are in a way a lot more comfortable to play for the right hand, but the left hand suffers. What note are you landing on for those whales? Whales? Oh, those? That's always like this, the flat 5 to the 5. So that's always the same thing. Yeah, I always do that. Flat 5 to the 5. Is that Jeff Beck? Yeah. Or Jimmy Herring. Right there I am. That's like Zeppelin, right? It's like. Okay, cool. See you guys. All right. Yeah. See you guys later.